Okay, there we go. Happy Tuesday. You are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. We are also live on Facebook on my group page, Real Talk with Karen Stacy, which if you're tuned in right now, you see that already. But just in case you're not, we are tuned in on Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. You can also listen on the TuneIn app. So if you're in the car and you're driving and you want to take me with you, you can do that. So I just wanted to start today's show with a dedication. I learned that we had unfortunately, I did not personally know Bobby, but I know a lot of people that did. And this show tonight is dedicated to Bobby and his wife and his family. Unfortunately, he passed away he's been fighting cancer for a long time, and him and his wife and everybody were just such an inspiration to watch. They had an amazing bond. And I still don't understand why the good ones always are taken, but one day we'll get it, right? So prayers go out to them. This is dedicated to them. I'd like everybody to just take a moment and say a prayer, and hopefully he's resting in peace right now. Maybe he's having a cocktail with my husband. And we have two angels now to look after us, right? So just want to take a second and, give everybody a moment to pay respect. And just remember what a blessing it is every day to wake up and live. So anyway, okay, so here we are again, Plan freaking B. So what is Plan B? Well, Plan B is when you have a live show to do on the radio every week and you schedule guests, and unfortunately life gets in the way. So we've had this issue a number of times. So my guest this evening was traveling. I'm in Westchester, and he was traveling from northern Westchester. And for any of you mother flippers that are out there in freaking Florida, my son was on the phone with his best friend, and I hear my girlfriend go, "Oh yeah, it's 85 degrees here," and I'm like, "Ugh." So for any of you that aren't in New York, where it finally, I mean, the weathermen have been shitting the bed a lot, but it did finally do something, and it's pretty gross out, and it's very slippery and icy. So some of us are stuck, and my guest this evening, I was not going to make him drive that far. He was very vigilant about getting here, but I just couldn't allow him to do that and worry about him getting here and then getting home. So and I can't have no cougar whisperer spending the night at my house, so you gotta go. So it wasn't gonna happen tonight. So hopefully we're gonna reschedule. I have to check the calendar and see when I'm gonna have him back on again. And I had two surprise guests coming on too, so we were gonna have a little fun tonight, but that's okay. I'll have fun talking to you guys. It's all good. So that was so that's that. So I ended up I tried to solicit everybody to be part of the show tonight so that you guys can keep me going. I know that we did move the show to 8 o'clock as opposed to 7 o'clock, and I know for some people that works out well, and for other people, I know it's still. One of my girlfriends just texted and said, I gotta start dinner so that I can be there when you start. So thank you guys. I know some of you are cooking dinner and you're listening, so hopefully you don't lose your appetite while you're going. Have a glass of wine, my favorite, wine and cheese maybe. But yeah, we are snowed in. And what's funny is this morning, what happens when it snows, right? Everybody got to run and get what? Milk, eggs, and bread, right? So this morning I went to make my, I have a latte every morning, and would you believe it? I actually finished my milk. I use almond milk, and I'm like, oh my God, I have no more milk. So I shit the bed on that one because, normally everybody's running and the weathermen have been wrong. I mean, we all woke up this morning and there was not a flake to have been seen, and they canceled school last night as of 7 p.m., which I hadn't caught the email. I saw, of course, thank God for Facebook. I saw a poster on Facebook that certain districts were closed, and then I checked my email, and there was the email that schools were closed. But, a lot of people are writing on Facebook, it's the pussification, of America, because, these kids, nobody goes, it's like, oh, there's a snowflake, all right, close the schools. Although I don't think New York schools were closed, but I can't say for sure. I don't know, I didn't ask. But, when we woke up this morning, there was no snow. And, it's like when you watch the news, they're like, we swear it's going to snow. They're waiting for it to come. Because again, they shit the bed. So, thankfully we had some sort of precipitation, say that 3 times fast, some sort of precipitation today, and it is icy outside. Like I said, had I not got, had I shoveled that area, I probably would have slid, but I kind of crunched in there with the snow, so I was good. So, here we are, and so I am here talking to myself yet again. I have actually been very flattered because I do have people that either message me or, speak to me personally, and they actually tell me that they sometimes enjoy my show more when I don't actually have a guest. And I guess that's the funny part about, having guests on any show, right? Because people will watch a show or listen to a show sometimes because of the guest, because you have somebody on and they want to learn more about them or whatever. Then you also have people that don't like your guest, or maybe they found what they were talking about boring and they just tell me. I've had, and no offense, I think all my guests are wonderful, but, everybody's different. So I've had people say to me, I was listening, but I just really didn't care for this, or I didn't care for that. And that's what happened. So I try to change it up a little bit. I also work with Plan B because Plan A seems to be getting me good at this point. So, I try to change it up a little bit, and I'll do this, and we'll interact, and we'll talk, because this is definitely real talk, right? When we 2 weeks ago, I don't know, a lot of you tuned in, and we had some scandal going on my feed there, because we were talking about social media, and should you or shouldn't you post personal things on a public page? Should you post private personal things on a public page? Well, after the show, I got 8 billion comments on there, and there was some serious stuff going on. And you know what? I allowed it all to take place because that's what this is. This is a forum for real talk. And as long as you keep it real, let's keep talking. And the funny thing about it is, the thing about the truth is it always comes out. So that's the funny thing about the truth, right? Because you can perpetrate the fraud as much as you want, but eventually the truth is going to come out and you're going to reveal it. So if you allow someone a long enough time to keep talking, eventually they're going to talk themselves in and out of a circle. So what ended up happening during that show was, as you all know, if you've watched or listened to my show before, I don't play favorites with people. I also have my opinion. My opinion does not mean that I'm always right. It's just how I feel about it. So I try not to interject a lot. I say how I feel about something, but I'm also very neutral. And that, I think, is my job, to be neutral. Because if I'm asking someone a question or I'm posing a question, I have to be acceptant on what the responses are going to be. I can't come on here and start talking and not expect somebody to turn around and go, oh, that bitch don't know what the hell she's talking about, or, oh, she just talks and talks. I got to expect that, right? Because for everybody that may say, I really enjoy what you say, there's going to be 6 other people that are going to say that they don't. And that's okay. You're all allowed to do that. But we all here are going to respectfully agree to disagree. So when people start attacking one another, it becomes a little bit more than what I appreciate. And no one should be attacked. So if I have fans or haters for that matter, I mean, you guys are going to sort it out through yourselves, obviously. But I don't want people getting attacked for how they feel. Now, it's different when you come on and you start attacking people. That's different. So the point is that this is a good question to start off with. So what do you do in that situation? So now you're in a situation where we just brought up publicly that we should keep personal bullshit, sorry to say, off of a public forum. So now when someone or peoples bring in personal stuff on a public thing, what do? Do you just let them do it? Do you allow them to talk, attack, and not say anything in return? What do you do with that? Because if someone's speaking, they're obviously speaking because they want a response. So it's very difficult when someone is attacking another person, or let me not even use the word attacking. But if you have something that's going back and forth and you're trying to rise above that, do we leave it alone or do we pursue it? So 2 weeks ago, there was a lot going on, like I said, on my feed. And the thing that aggravated me more than anything else was that the responses and what was going on the feed were not reflective of the show. Okay? So that's the part that pissed me off a little bit. Because when I speak generally, at least on the show. Because if I see you and I know you and you did something and I feel the need to tell you, no one ever doesn't get like, oh, I don't know if she likes me or whatever. That might be their own thing. But I don't mince words, and people really kind of know from the way I am how I feel about something. So, it's an interesting thing where, when I speak on here, I certainly go to personal things that have happened to me. I use my own experiences. I use other people's experiences. I watch. I see things that go on. So I may use them as an example. I don't say, well, Mary did blah, 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 blah. I say, well, for instance, is it okay to post private things on a public forum? There were no names involved. There wasn't even examples involved. It was a question. And the answer was pretty synonymous with most people. A lot of people said it didn't belong on social media, that was something better done in a private message or text or whatever. So ironically, what took place on my show actually depicted exactly what I was referring to with that, because there was people going after or harping on a specific subject that really had nothing to do with my show. It had something to do with the show because I touched on the topic, but it was not directed at any one person, party, or anything. So, it's a thing, and it's something that, if somebody would have responded and said, that happened to me, and there was a party of people that said this, and that, and I didn't like when it happened to me, then that is okay. My microphone just did something wacky. Okay. That is okay. But for you to turn around and start putting your personal information in, that was taking it to the level in which I didn't want to take it. So that was proving my point. And I have a reminder here, I gotta move up, so don't mind me. So that was my whole point to that. Yes, exactly, Mel. I proved my point, which I'm pretty good at doing. It does, it proves your point, because if you don't, if you allow someone to continue, they will. And then, like I said, the truth always comes out. So I appreciate everybody's input. And I always ask everyone that does input on the show to please be kind, to please be respectful, and to, respectfully agree to disagree. And, I understand that sometimes, I'm very grateful. There are a lot of people that, they don't like certain things, and, some of the things I was attacked in, and people responded, and, I appreciate that, and I thank you for it. I stay neutral in these situations unless someone gets, I try to keep it right, and when people got disrespectful, I chimed in. But, it is what it is, and opinions are opinions. So, like we said, it proved a point. So you are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. And I am also live on Facebook in my group. So I tried to up my game a little bit today. I got a little tripod today that my son put together for me. And I don't know, I think it looks better in the frame, kind of, sort of, I don't know. Last week I did the Super Show with Rob Machado, which is one of our DJs on Miami Mike Radio. And such a professional job. It was just amazing. Like I said, I had camera 1, camera 2. It was so cool. They had the logo up, and it was just awesome. And then he played music. And then the funniest freaking thing in the world, that the cops came in. Like, you can't make this shit up. When I tell you, I didn't even realize what was going on, because I was up on the DJ thing with Rob, and I'm just like, I'm getting into it because he's playing my music, and I'm like dancing or whatever. I turn around, I'm like, what the hell? So I just figured he knew them, and like they just stopped in or something. And then all of a sudden, he's taking out his book, and he's like writing down Rob's name, and I'm like, holy shit, that's really like a cop. Like, what the hell? So yeah, we made the cops come. You put 2 Bronx people together, and now the freaking cops come. Could you imagine? So that was kind of funny. But it was cool the way we videoed, and with all the cameras and stuff. So if anybody out there does like video work or whatever, and you love me to death, and you want to like teach me or show me or film me, like, please do, because that was really awesome. Although I'm not bad with this over here. It kind of has like that look to it. So I'm pretty good. All right. So anyway, I'm reading. I am actually can read some of the comments that you guys are putting in, and so far I don't. I'm trying to see where. Okay, where am I? I don't even know, because I can't see which feed, but I'm seeing what's going on over here. Rob is in the building. I was just talking about you, Rob. You got to rewind so you can hear. I can't say too many nice things about you at once. So anyway, as I said, we're on Plan B because the Cougar Whisperer is frozen in upstate New York. So here we are. So I'm going to lead into this. So today's Tuesday. It is February 12th. So Thursday is V-Day, Valentine's Day, or otherwise known as Halloween, in my opinion. So it's an interesting thing, and I had one of my girlfriends, tell me that we should talk about relationships. And we have certainly, I think I touch on relationships a lot, but let me just get the actual question. She was saying, what do women or men want at our age. Our age meaning, no, meaning like over 40, 50, I'm assuming. Like what do we want? And why are most divorced women not looking for commitment? So that's been the question I have asked a lot, right? We've been talking about. So let's get some feedback on that. So first of all, asking what women want is probably like asking to solve world peace, because you're just never ever gonna be able to know what women want, right? Although I do have to say, in our defense, once we reach a certain point and a certain age in our life, I do think we kind of know what we want, right? Because the whole key to knowing what you want in life is learning what you don't want in life, right? So I think that once you're in your 40s and your 50s, you pretty much know what you don't like and you don't want, because now there's a red flag. You see that. We may be blind, we can't see close up, but we could freaking see far away. So we see that red flag far away, and now we're not kids anymore, and we don't need you in our life. So now we see the red flag and we're like, okay, gotta go. Nope, not giving them the benefit of the doubt. Nope, not doing it, right? So that's where you go with that. So I don't know the answer to this question, to be quite honest with you. Not that I know the answer to most questions, but in this particular situation, I don't know what the right answer is. And I'm open to people, what you guys think, because it is difficult to know what people want. I think my husband used to say to me, like, for instance, on Father's Day, and he said, babe, what do you want? To be left alone. Don't break my balls. That's what he wanted. So I think that as we hit our 40s and 50s, that's what we want. Don't break my balls. Like, let's be. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy life. And let's not, like, don't break my balls, don't, like, if you're out, you're this, you're that, let's just all be, we're all adults, right? Like, who wants somebody where you gotta where are you, who are you with, what are you doing, are you freaking kidding me? Like, my father, I know where my father lives, and he is not you. If I'm calling you daddy, it's for a whole other reason. So don't sit there and ask me where I am, what I'm doing, or anything like that, right? So, it's all about mutual trust, and it's about security, in my opinion, because if you're stalking somebody, and don't get me wrong, I could stalk. I'm from the Bronx, and I'm a mother, so I know how to stalk, and I check. You can do certain things, but guess what? If you got to start doing that, you're not in the right place. When my husband passed away and I had to go into his phone, I was a little bit nervous because I just never did that. When I looked in his phone, you really don't know what you're going to see, right? Do you know? Somebody could be doing whatever they're doing, and maybe you don't know. And I was a little scared when I first looked because I didn't know what to expect. And all I found in there were like notes that he didn't even give me, that he was writing to me, that were like unbelievable. So, you don't know, but nothing you're going to do is going to change that. Because if you got to follow somebody and stalk them so that they're not doing the wrong thing, where are we going with that? So I think, what did Ali say? That's an easy question with a complex answer only because nothing is guaranteed. Yeah. No, nothing is guaranteed, and this is my point. But the thing about being comfortable in your own skin and being 40 or 50 and knowing what you don't want, I think that again, like I tell my son, we cannot control other people. We can only control our reactions to other people, right? So if somebody acts like an asshole, you can't control them and stop them from acting like an asshole. All you can do is choose not to act accordingly to them, so that you have now changed that, because you don't need to be like them. So that's really the only thing that we can do in that respect. So I think that, what happens is that as we grow up and we see things and we want things and we know things, then we respond accordingly. So in response to the question that was posed before, I think that what happened to my hold on one second. Something happened with my computer. I want to make sure that we are still live on MiamiMikeRadio.com. Yes, we are. I don't know, my computer went to sleep for some reason. There was no sleeping on the job. So as for what we want, I think I could be wrong, and you can hit the heart button, the like button, the anything button. But I think men and women, I think that anyone that is single, and you know what, for that matter, people that are in a relationship, really all we want is easy, right? You just want to live. You want to be happy. You want to be respected. And you want to just, be. So, if you're not in a relationship, then you want somebody that's going to accept you for who and what you are. But at the same token, if you want to be in a relationship, there's also compromise that's involved with that. So, those of us that have been single longer than others, that have the attitude of, well, I ain't changing for nobody, I don't agree with that either, because you have to always bend a little bit. Okay, because no two people are exactly the same. And if you end up with somebody that is the same as you, then you're really going to go at it, because you're like, I have a habit of meeting people that are like me. And it's tough because you're both going at it. So it's like, all right, which one of us is going to stop going at it? Because I see you're going there and now I'm going there. So, sometimes it's good to have that balance and not have somebody like, I'm going to jump, I'm going to go. Sometimes you got to be with somebody that's not going to jump and somebody that's not going to go, because if not, you're both jumping and nobody's stopping anybody from, falling, going right on their head. So, it's a little bit of a give and take. But yeah, so you have to compromise. I don't care how strong you are. You should only change for yourself, is a comment that I got from Gabriella. Absolutely. But when I say change, I don't mean change. I mean, I don't want to say adapt either. It's just compromise. I mean, there's no other way to put it. You cannot put two people in this world together and not compromise. We all were raised differently. I mean, for that matter, you could have a brother and a sister that were raised exactly the same, and they don't think the same way. So we all, we all think differently. We all respond differently. So we have to all understand that. So, if you like to eat meat, I like to eat meat, and I have people that are vegan, I am not going to try to convince them to eat meat. And I'm also respectful. If I go out to dinner with them and then maybe I'm going to say, I won't order the steak. I don't want to, offend you. Like, I'll get fish or whatever, because that's respecting somebody. So that's a compromise, right? And they may say, I don't give a crap. Get whatever you want. I don't care. Get yourself the steak. Get whatever. So, it's definitely, it's just about, I think it's also consideration besides that. It's just being considerate of another human. So it's compromise, it's consideration, it's all of those things. So that would be, my answer to that. And then the other question was, why don't people of that age group want a committed relationship? So, again, somebody needs to help me, because I'm not really sure what the hell that means. I mean, I know what a committed relationship is, but in this day and age, I don't really know what that means. Like, committed to what? Committed to sleeping with one person? If you don't live together, and then are they your boyfriends? Are they your girlfriends? I mean, the titles and the this and the that, like, it's very confusing because there's a lot of blurred lines because yet again, we are not dependent on one another, right? That's the whole thing, was that when you're younger and you meet somebody, you become dependent on them, right? So, I put my phone on so I could see the comments and the volume was up. So, that's the other thing too. All right, let me just see. Allie, I saw you wrote like a paragraph, so I want to make sure that, thank you, Joe. You rock too. Thank you. Thank you guys all for tuning in to Real Talk with Karen Stacy. Do me a favor, tag your friends, bring them into the conversation. All right, so let's see. Allie, such an easy question with a complex answer, only because nothing is guaranteed and most everything is imperfect as it should be. We should want to be able to be ourselves and allow the other pesos, the same other people. I assume that should be. Allow the other people the same, and you'll either click, learn off each other with new introductions, or you'll end up just calling it quits before it gets too deep. Mutual respect is a must, and I would recommend either person to embrace the differences and actually want the differences, just to see how their behaviors can endure in a cool way. Yeah, I agree with that. And without yes, I see person, Allie. I kind of figured it out. I wasn't sure if you were trying to make a reference that I wasn't keen on. But I think I encumbered that in what I said, where I do agree with that. Do we have titles at our age when we are dating somebody? Gabrielle, I don't know. I mean, I don't really think I'm doing this. I told you, I don't know that I'm doing this right. I have no idea. All right, Mel, I'm going to answer for myself. The answer to this question is the population today is very high with divorce. Men and women have become married and divorced, so no one is really looking for commitment anymore. Why? Well, like I said before, been there, done that. Today, it's more about meeting people, find a friend, and have a good time. Well, yes, and again, I think that encumbered what I was saying before as well. It's all part and parcel because, if we don't need somebody, when we're younger and we meet somebody, we're meeting somebody to create a life, right? To live happily ever after, and we get engaged, we get married, we buy a house, or we move in together, we have children, we build a family, we build a life, and then we build a bond and a connection. The truth of the matter is that I don't care whether your ex was an asshole or the greatest person in the world. To form that type of a bond, when you have a child with somebody and they're in the delivery room with you, whether you're pushing them out or they're pulling them out, that's, somebody knows you literally inside and out. You cannot create that type of bond with someone. I mean, you can create a different type of bond, don't get me wrong, but I think about that even now. I mean, yes, I have friends and I have people and I'm developing relationships with people, but it won't, yes, it might be a little bit different because I know who and what I am now. When I was younger and I met my Joey, I didn't know who the hell I was. I was trying to figure it out. And then now that at this age we know what we are, so maybe it's different because we lead differently because of what we bring to the table. But I think that it's difficult because you're never going to have that same connection with someone. And I wonder if you want that. Because, it's like, not to compare this because this really would sound horrible, I think. Might sound horrible, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm an animal lover. Right, and when I had 2 dogs at one point, I had my Pumpkin, was a Pomeranian, and I had her from 21 till I actually, a month before I gave birth to Noah at 38. And we got a pit bull as well. When my husband died, my pit started staying with my in-laws, and I guess she felt they needed her more than me. And, she hung out with them. And, now she, I see her on occasion, but, I don't really have her anymore. And to be honest, I miss my dog. I love having a dog, but having that responsibility, and loving someone that much again, and having to, I don't know, worry. I mean, they get sick, they need their nails cut, whatever it is that's going on. It's not easy sometimes, and maybe we don't want to go through that emotionally right now, right? So sometimes you don't want someone to get that close to you, because as wonderful as it is to have that type of closeness with someone, is as scary as it is to open yourself up to that. So we all become hardened, right? Like, the whole thing about being younger is that we're naive, right? And the red flags, they don't mean anything to us because we just keep looking beyond it because we don't know any better. Now we know better. So now it's like, do we allow ourselves to care about somebody that much? Or do we keep them all at arm's distance because it's easier to keep them at arm's distance than to actually give your heart to somebody again? So, right, friends, some of us enjoy friends with benefits, Gabriella, and that's my point, is that I think most people in this point in time, that's what they want. They want friends with benefits, and I get it, because like I said 2 weeks ago, it's easy. Friends with benefits is easy. You know what? Yeah, I'm having a shitty day. Like, let's go freaking do what we gotta do. I mean, it's easy, as opposed to having to explain yourself, or, you're not in the mood. Like, I'm not in the mood. I said it, after my show, I'm talking for freaking 2 hours straight. You think I want to get on the phone now and talk to somebody? Not really. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I'm into somebody, I'm into somebody. But after I've been talking for 2 hours, I'm good. I don't need to be on the phone for another 2 hours, So sometimes it's nice to just be able to do whatever. But at the same token, it's also nice to go back, for me to go in my house. And I mean, again, my husband's not here, but it's also nice if I can go in and, and he looks at me and says, hi, baby, your show was great, or how was your show, or whatever, that's nice too. But you know what? We have what we have, and we can't talk about what we don't, right? So it is what it is. If you're in love, true love, it'll be hard to keep them at arm's distance. Yes, and that's my point. And that's what I was trying to say. Obviously, if you fall in love with somebody, then there is no arm's distance, and that's just how it goes. But my point is that I think that a lot of us in this particular situation are trying to keep people at arm's distance because it's just safer, for lack of a better term. And that people, again, we don't really need that. So, years ago, people were stuck in relationships because of a financial situation or because of children, and they were stuck. How many people do you know that are stuck in loveless marriages because they think that they're doing their child an injustice by getting divorced? Look, everybody has their own beliefs, but I believe that if you're miserable, your children know it, and they are going to be a product of that. So do I believe that in divorce? I mean, do I believe in it? I mean, of course I believe in it, but I don't believe in it. I told my husband, till death do you part is right, that I don't believe in divorce. But it doesn't mean, that's, again, it's me, and I'm not saying that anybody that's getting divorced is wrong. I'm saying that, if you do what works for you, and again, you can't be unhappy. So if you're in a loveless marriage, so now what? So you start your life at 50 or 60 years old, and so the kids are better off growing up in a household where the parents don't love each other. They're not learning how to love because they're not seeing their parents hugging and kissing. They're not seeing their parents have that special connection and bond. They see them coexist. They see roommates. And so when they grow up, what kind of relationship are they going to have? Well, they could have the same loveless relationship that you just got to do what you got to do because it's the right thing. Or maybe they're going to go the other direction, and maybe they're going to have this amazing relationship because they're going to say they don't want to be like their parents were. Because I mean, at the end of the day, our children kind of get the fact that we're making sacrifices for them, But, kids are very resilient, and they're going to do what they're going to do. And they will come back. So if you're going to be in a loveless relationship, that's what you're teaching your children. But I understand that, I know I've had men say to me, I don't care. I will not see my kid every day. I respect that. So, either way, like, it's a really shitty situation. It's a really shitty situation because no one wants to be miserable. And you try to do the right thing for your kids. I think we all are driven for that reason. And who the hell knows? You just figure, frig it, I'll stick it out for another couple of years. And then, once they're there, then, I can go about my life. So, and now that goes to the conversation that we're having right now, right? So now if you lived in a loveless marriage or, a miserable place, let's say, for X amount of years, and now you're single and you're out there, you're damn right friends with benefit works, right? Because now I'm free. I talked about this 2 weeks ago on my show when I met that guy, and he said to me, you know what? I'm only single now for like 2 years. I just got my life the way I wanted to. I got my apartment how I want it. I'm living my life the way I want to. I wasn't ready to meet you. And that was the most honest thing anyone has said to me. Well, not anybody, but it's one of the most honest things that someone has said to me. And I respect that. And it took me a little bit of time to understand it because I am not divorced. And my world was not, I didn't ask for any of this. So I'm on a different page than everybody else. But I listen to everybody and I see what people are going through. And I have a lot of people that talk to me and I hear everybody's life stories. And again, you can't judge anybody. I mean, I have best friends of mine, that have told me, and I know what type of a marriage they live in. And it is what it is. And I, as a friend, I'm like, but when are you going to be happy? Like, you're 50, whatever years old. And it's like, it doesn't matter, I mean, I'm doing this because once my kid gets to this age, it's not, they're not going to want me to be around. But for now, they want me to be around. And while they want me here, I'm going to be here. So, again, it's a personal thing. But my point to all of that is exactly going back to the question that was posed in the first place. When you get out of a marriage that's no good, the last thing you want to do is be in a situation, again, where you're no good. So guess what? I can pay my own bills. I can do what I need to do. I can cook. I can clean. I can take care of myself. So you know what? You're going to fit into my world where I want you to. And where I want you to is that I need you to help me with stress management, as I call it. And you know what? If I need to rant, if I need a friend, if I need whatever, and we all have different people to fill those needs, right? Sometimes we have people that we just hang out with, we go out with, you go out to dinner with, you go out drinking with. You have people that like bands and you go out to dinner and watch a band with them. Or you have people that like freestyle and want to go out dancing and then you go out with them. Or you have somebody that you're just rolling in the freaking sheets with and you got nothing to say to them one way or another. Everybody has a place in life, and sometimes if you don't have that one person that fills all of those things, you get a bunch of people that fill all of those things and you just divide yourself accordingly, and that can fulfill you. So it's all about, but again, it takes being 40 or 50 years old, going through hell and figuring it out and saying, you know what, I don't need that shit, I'm going out. I go out, me personally, I go out by myself most of the times now. I don't really, I know people wherever I go. I try not to go someplace where I don't know anybody, but I have no issue going out by myself. Do I feel, sometimes I feel something, but you know what? I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm not traveling to Jersey or I'm not going far away to do that, but, I would definitely, I don't care. I'll go out by myself. Because I like my company, and guess what? When I want to get there, I get there, and when I want to leave, I leave, and there's nobody saying nothing one way or another. And you know what the other thing is? I don't have to babysit anybody. So now if you get drunk and I'm with you, I don't have to babysit you. I left my child. I am out and not with my child right now. I don't want to babysit you because you drank too much. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody's got, sometimes people have those nights, and I get that, and I don't mean that. But I mean, in general, when we're an adult, we should be able to take care of ourselves. So I think that's, going back to that. Okay, so wait a second. Let's see. Mel, I am divorced and agree to some extent, Karen. Sometimes there is no husband to kiss and hug you right. What are we teaching our kids? You turn it around and hug your kids, kiss them no matter what age they are, and always reassure them how much love. Oh, 100%. And what I definitely, during my little, tirade over there, or whatever, my rant, I absolutely agree with that, because that is the best lesson of all. Love is love is love. It doesn't matter necessarily where it comes from. As long as it comes from somewhere, that's what the important thing is. But, and that was my point. I said it would be nice for me to be able to go in and have my husband there and to kiss or whatever whatever it was. But it's, it's not my life right now. So I'm okay with going into my home and being alone and not having that. That's what I was saying. And yes, you're absolutely right, because when I walk in my house after this, I go in and I kiss my child while he's asleep, and then I get into my bed. So absolutely, it is all about the children, 110%. I agreed. Okay, let's see. Allie, it's tough for me. As an example, I've been married for nearly 20 years, now divorced, but I'm used to being with someone. I did get into another relationship as the divorce was going in and finalized, but then my girlfriend, now ex, did something stupid, and because of that, it made me cautious rather than easygoing and easy to trust. But I learned not to look for anything too perfect and be easy on yourself, because it could be great or it could be crappy. But just don't monitor it too much. I'm a little different, or maybe not, but I don't expect many to understand, but it's my version. Well, no, I think that's very easy to understand, and it's also being in touch and in tune with yourself, because, some might argue that you got into a relationship too quickly, right? Because you were married for 20 years and your divorce wasn't even final, and you are, and then you had a girlfriend, which, now ex-girlfriend. So, I know from my own experience, when I lost my husband, I knew I could never replace him, but I tried, I was looking for something to fill that, because I was used to being in a relationship. It's funny, people that meet me now, they think I'm this party girl. I'm not a party girl. I was home. I was always with my family. Don't get me wrong. I was a party girl when I was younger. I used to go out. I did whatever. I lived my life 110%. But as an adult, I got married at 32. And we were together, since we were together as kids, then we broke up for a little bit, got back together again, and, I did my thing when we were broken up or whatever, but, I'm not a party girl. I didn't need to go out. I didn't have 100 girlfriends. I didn't have to have girls' night, and when I did have girls' night, I had my husband with me, and not because he was, like, monitoring me or whatever, but because we just enjoyed each other's company, so, he would come with me. And I was fine with that. So, I'm not a party girl. I don't need to go out and party. I was very happy with my life. I was happy, being a wife. I was happy being a mom. But now it's different. And so now sometimes you do need to go out and you do need to be around people and, be around an adult. But for me personally, when I first lost him, I was just so used to, for lack of a better word, being taken care of. My husband did everything for me. I was his princess, and I was just looking for someone to fix it. And nobody was going to fix it. And so I was looking for all the wrong things. I was looking to meet somebody because I thought they were going to fix it and they were going to bring something, more for me. And nobody could fix that. I'm the only one that could fix that. And it's the hole inside of me that not one other person could fill. I mean, you could have, like I just said, you could have 5 different people that can fill different voids in your life, but no one is going to fill that. And that was my lesson to learn. So sometimes when you are in a relationship so quickly after, because it's what you know, if you're married 20 years, it's going to go 2 ways. You're going to either want to be with somebody right away because you're going to want to fill that void, or you're going to be the biggest horn dog in the world and you're going to go banging everybody you can because, you didn't do it for 20 years. It just depends on your personality, or maybe even both. But I think that has a lot to do with it as well. And it's just finding yourself, because if you've been with somebody for 20 years, you really don't know who you are without that person. So I think that that's the difference now in life, is that as we're single at this age, we now know ourselves better. So I think we have a different outlook on the relationships. All right, let's see. Just meet, have fun, go with the flow. Be you, let them be them, and see where it takes you. Oh, I asked for the divorce, and we split for 2 years while the divorce was taking place, so it was mutual. I tried taking the next relationship slow, but my girlfriend at the time didn't understand. This created an imbalance, so it's a divorced person's dilemma. Yes, I mean, it's all, look, it's all relative. It is what it is. And the whole point to that is that hopefully, we learn from it. So again, happy Valentine's Day or Halloween, as I call it, because, the funny thing about, Valentine's Day, even, when I had my husband, I mean, do we really need a day that, is dedicated? It's a bullshit holiday. It's a Hallmark holiday that, so I would tell my husband, do not even think about buying me roses. If you think I want you to spend $100 on roses that are going to die in 2 days, you're out of your mind. You could bring me 1 flower, I would be just as happy, okay? I don't need all of that. And I would tell him, then, buy me like a gift then, if that's the case. Don't get me flowers. It's a waste of money, And look, and what are you going to do? You're going to go out on Valentine's Day? Service sucks. Food sucks. They're rushing you in, rushing you out. That's for, the 20-year-olds. You go out on Valentine's Day. That's, what you do. Otherwise, what are we doing on Valentine's Day? But listen, God bless you if you want to do that and you're a hopeless romantic. I mean, I'm a hopeless romantic too, but right now it's just hopeless. So it's all good. So happy freaking Valentine's Day. I'm going with happy Halloween. So that's it. That's my all right, so let's digress and let's get on to some other topics here, because I mean, I have a lot of topics, believe it or not, but I just start talking and it don't stop. So see what happens. So you are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy. We are live on MiamiMikeRadio.com and in my Facebook group. Do me a favor, guys. Share the video, or I don't know how you do. There's that watch, the watch video or something where you can invite people in, because the more people that start talking, the juicier it gets. Let's get the feed going while we're doing the show, not after the show. Like last time when everything was blowing up and it didn't even have to do with the show, but that's a whole other story. That's a whole other show. All right, so here's something that goes along with, I think, us being grown-ups. How important is your reputation to you? Do you think if people talk about you that other people listen to that? Like, can someone else ruin your reputation? This kind of pertains a little bit to my show, before, where people, defamation of character and all of these type of things. Me personally, I'm old school. To me, ethics, morals, those things are very important to me. My word is bond. Okay, when I had my business, I'll never forget when my lawyer said to me that that the verbal agreement is worth the paper it's written on, and unfortunately, that is very, very true. So my feeling is, me personally, I give you my word. My word is bond, and it's there. So my reputation means a lot to me because that's who I am. And my reputation, as I say, and I say this all the time to people, I've recently met people, they've seen my show before. Recently met people, and I say all the time on my show, if you meet me, you hear me out, you hear me on the show, you meet me, you see me out, then you will, I'm the same person. And I'll say it straight, and I will say it like that. And you know what? That's my reputation, because people know if I say to you, you know what? I like that person, or that person is really, good. People are going to be like, oh, okay. So yeah, I guess it has, but that's my reputation. But see, now again, that can mar other people's opinions and reputations because, well, not reputation, but opinion. If somebody, I've had people, and I just recently had this. I just recently had this done. This just happened. So you've heard a story about somebody for X amount of years, and the picture that was painted was colored in one way, and of course you have no idea because no one ever gave you the crayons. The picture was colored in when you saw it, so you never knew what the picture looked like without being colored in, right? So now all of a sudden somebody hands you these crayons and you're like, oh, but I could put this color in, I could put this, and all of a sudden the picture changes because somebody else was added to the mix. So I think that you can hear things about people. But somebody could say to me, oh my God, that guy is the biggest jerk off in the world. He's so nasty. He's this, he's that. You know what? I'm going to meet him and I'm going to come to my own conclusion. I will have that in the back of my head. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to sit there and I'm going to let this guy talk because you know what? It could go the other way too. There are a lot of people that say, oh my God, that guy is such a sweetheart. I love him. You got to meet him. You got to talk to him. And I'm listening and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to him. And I'm like, this guy's a freaking douche. And I'm saying to myself, why would, Banana say that, he's like a nice guy? This guy's a douche. So it goes both ways. So I'm sitting there trying to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, but I'm like, no, I don't agree with Banana. This guy's a freaking jerk. So it goes both ways. So you always have to come to your own conclusion, in my opinion. You can't just go out there and judge people by somebody else's opinion. So that's when I say a reputation. People talk about other people. I don't know why, but people do. And so if you talk about somebody, I think you're trying to tarnish their reputation. And a lot of times when people say things to tarnish somebody's reputation, it's usually because of them. For instance, let's see, even in the work business, right, in the industry, where somebody might say, oh yeah, I don't have, I don't have her anymore. Well, why? What happened? No, it didn't work out. Meanwhile, you'll turn around and if you speak to the person that said it didn't work out, it didn't work out because of the other person. It didn't work out because that business person didn't do the right thing. So therefore, the person that has morals and ethics and values walks away from that person because my reputation or that person's reputation means more to them. So you can't stand behind something that isn't correct. So to me, that's my reputation, because if you go to bed with somebody, so to speak, if you're involved with someone that's not a good human, or doesn't have good ethics, doesn't have a good reputation, and now you merge with this person, I believe that will affect your reputation. So I don't know. I'm going to read the comments right now because I'm curious to see if any, I think people will still comment on the other thing, but let me just look here because I can't read and talk at the same time. All right, we're past the Valentine's Day thing. Um, what did you savvy on mystery scented candles, horoscope signs? Not really sure what that means. Find your candle, your horoscope sign. What? I'm not sure what that had to do with the show. But okay. Um, I'm trying to see here. Okay. Hi, John. How are you? Hi, everybody. Thank you for checking in. I am not going through the entire feed, but I lost people here. So, where is everybody? It's all in oneself's character. Yeah. Well, that was kind of what I was saying is that I just think that, reputation means so much. And I mean, the question is, can you fix that? Like if somebody is, for instance, when people, it's somebody's you're talking about somebody's reputation. So for instance, with my show, when people were blasting other people on social media, there were people's reputations that were being marred by that. Because people were saying things, whether they were true or they weren't true, but it affects someone else's reputation. So, what should you do about that? Like, that goes back to what I was talking about earlier today. Do you just let it go? Do you let people just talk? And just, it doesn't matter? I mean, can you fix that? People are, can be manipulated to believe what they are being told. Do people really base their opinions on their own experience with that person? Or have they already formed an opinion? It's like you're guilty and you can't prove, and you can't prove yourself innocent. And should you really try at that point? I have people, and I was having this discussion with a girlfriend of mine the other day. I have people that, persons or whatever, sometimes people talk about other people. And sometimes people like to make someone the scapegoat. So there could be a situation that takes place, and there is a person that is so frustrated by this situation that instead of being able to lash out at the people that caused the situation, they take it out on the person that actually is not part of the situation, but they took the fall for it. So it's just very interesting how people can displace and create scenarios that don't actually exist. So, I've had instances where things have gone down. And I know some of you think like, okay, I open my mouth. But I got to tell you something. A lot of times I don't open my mouth for certain reasons because I don't entertain the bullshit. So, if I have had people that have said things, oh, well, it's just, she said, and you know what? I could throw 100 people under a bus at that point. But I don't do it. Because you know what? Screw it. If that's what somebody wants to think, then that's what somebody wants to think, right? Because there's nothing that I can do that's going to change that. This person loves to hate me. There's nothing I could do about that, right? The only thing I could do is be me, and all the people that are around this person can say, that's funny. You know what? I don't know Karen to be that way. Like, Karen's not really the type of person that would talk about somebody like that. She's not really a gossiper. She's, Karen. She's going to tell you what she thinks, and that's it. So it's very interesting to me when people try to turn a situation around to make someone look badly and make themselves look good. So if you have to manipulate a situation to make other people dislike someone so that they like you, again, that says a lot about you, right? And the place that you're at. So I'm going to leave it at that. But let me see what, where am I here? Did I do something to this feed? I'm just trying to see the feed. Here we go. Okay. It's all in one's character. Yes, absolutely. I agree, Leslie. Mel, you're the best. Punch him in the face. I can't with you. If it can affect one's job too, as in social media. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing, but it can affect people regardless. Anything that is put out there can affect people. So, that's why, you really have to watch what you say. And I just, some people like to stir the pot. And you know what? I don't believe in that either. And I said that. But it's funny too. Life imitates art. So, like in my show, for instance, I give examples, but they're general examples. They may be something that I've been through. They may be something that people have told me. It may be a lot of different things, to be quite honest with you. But I don't use names. I don't use specifics because this is a talk show. And, believe me, I know a lot of people's secrets. And I don't talk, I don't speak other people's secrets. So that was actually, something that I wanted to talk about. Do you do that? If you know, if someone tells you something in confidence, is it okay to tell somebody else? Like, let's say it was your ex, or let's say it's an ex-friend. When somebody has a conversation with you and it's a personal conversation, they're sharing certain things with you. When or why would it be okay to talk about somebody? Like, I still don't think that's right, and maybe it's just me. But to me, if you told me something in confidence, I am not going to share that with somebody else. It's not and I don't do that. I have people tell me things, believe me, the stuff that people tell me. And I don't talk about it because it's nobody else's business. So when you talk to me about something, it falls on deaf ears. Don't get me wrong. If something goes on and I think that someone is being wronged in a situation, I will open up my mouth. But I will not divulge personal information. But at the same token, I'm not going to let somebody abuse somebody in front of me either. So, but I would never divulge personal information to anybody that was said to me. And I don't think that there's an expiration date for that. If whatever the case is, if my best friend, and again, this is just talking, okay? If my best friend's husband couldn't get it up, and her and I have this conversation, do you think that I'm going to, and they broke up or whatever, I'm not going to, even if they didn't, I would never have that conversation. My girlfriend talked to me about that in private. I'm not going to go and talk to other people and go, oh, you remember, Anne-Marie, her husband couldn't fucking get it up. So, but like, who does that? Like, that's not nice. You don't do that. Your friend talks to you about something, and even if you never speak to your friend again, it's not something that you share, because when someone shares something with you in confidence, I believe that it should stay there. No matter, you could hate the person's guts, but you don't talk about what went on. If people say, well, what happened? How come you're not friends with Anne-Marie anymore? Well, then you could say a little something if you want to. But you don't have to go into detail. You don't have to throw somebody under a bus just so that you look better. So that's the thing that I'm trying to say, is that I don't think it's cool to talk about other people and to ruin their reputation or defamation of character or whatever you want to call it to make yourself look better. Because I have personally been in a situation where I have looked like shit because I didn't defend myself. And you know what? I don't feel I need to defend myself, because eventually the truth comes out. And it's very funny how it happens. I mean, I was in a bathroom 2 months ago, and I was being accused of talking somebody's personal business. And somebody in the bathroom came to me and said, oh my God, did you hear this, this, and that? And it was the words that were supposedly came out of my mouth, and she said it, and she heard it from somebody else. So now, that was the proof right there. But guess what? The person who accused me of blabbing, they don't want to hear it because they just want to hate me. So it's all good, hate. But you know what? The truth comes out, and I am not that person. And I don't think anybody should be that person. And I'm far from perfect. But we don't talk, you don't do that. You don't share people's personal business with somebody else. You just don't do it. I just don't think it's right. Whether you're friends, you're not friends, people suck. but don't suck as bad as they do. And don't get me wrong, I got a little bit of a streak in me too. And if you mess with the horn, if you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Absolutely. You know what? What's mine is mine, and don't mess with what's mine. So I'm very into that myself. But at the same token, sometimes you just got to let that shit go into the universe and let it do its thing, and it will dance until it comes back and kicks that person right in the ass. Okay, so now, see what happens? I go on these tirades. I can't help it. And then the hands start going, and that's it. All right, let's see. If you're trash, you will always talk trash about others. You know what, Gabriella? That's a very good rule of thumb. I like it. I think I need to tattoo that on my ass. What's up, Ruben and Chrissy? Thanks for joining. Ali, integrity is a trait and a practice, not one or the other. Yeah, and I think that is very true. And I think that, I guess my patience, for lack thereof, has really gotten to that point, because as an adult, you know better. We all know better. My son knows better. I teach my 9-year-old to know better. So if the people that I'm around don't know better, I know better to walk away, right? Richie, not at all. That would be betraying their trust in you. Right, but the whole point, and I agree with that, but you know what? People trust you for the moment, right? Everybody lives in the moment now, right? So if you're my best friend today and you're not my best friend tomorrow, then it's okay to throw that person under the bus, is the mentality. And I don't agree with that. What's up, Sammy? How are you, love? Diane, some like to talk and stir things up. Yeah, they like to stir that pot. But the funny thing is that then when they end up inside the pot, then they don't like it, right? So maybe you should watch yourself. What do I say? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Gianna, where the hell have you been, damn it? I mean, I was talking about some stuff that you would definitely wanted to be a part of. Where the hell have you been? How are you, my love? He got no time for bochinche. When did you become like this Latino, bochinche? Okay, Leslie, I know, but if I go to all American Burger Joint, I go to see it all. I'm not sure what that, okay, maybe that had to do. All right, Mel, thank you. You agree. What's up, Sonia, my love? How are you? Yeah, keep your eyes on the road. Well, at least Sonia isn't driving in freaking ice, so I don't want to hear that it's 85 degrees over there either, because you know what? I just don't want to hear that. All right, well, you are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy. We are live on MiamiMikeRadio.com and on Facebook Live in my group page. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for participating. My guest this evening was unable to attend because he lives further north, and here in New York, Mother Nature finally did something, so I did not feel it was safe for him to be on the roads, so we are going to reschedule that. Yes, Leslie, it's always good to stay away from bullshitters. That's good advice. It's like I tell my son, never put your mouth on anything dirty. It's just good universal advice. Okay, so now, where was I? Let's see what I want to talk about here. I had so many different things. All right, so we did that. Where am I? Okay, where did I go? Does it matter? See, I'm all over the place here. All right, I put all these things up. Oh, yeah, there you go. This ties in. Do you think most people are honest? Yeah, I'll wait. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with no. Well, yeah, all right. I don't know. I can't say no, but I don't want to say no, but I don't know. I don't know that honesty. I mean, I am fortunate. I think I am surrounded by a lot of honest people because, it's law of attraction, and since I am an honest person, I attract honest people. But again, I think a lot of people perpetrate the fraud. So I got a hell no. All right, here we go. No, nope. See? Okay, yeah, I'm waiting. Bring them in. Let's go. Bring them in. Hit those buttons. Start talking. I want to know because, I think that honesty is huge. Yeah, Mel. Yeah, you're too honest, right? And right. And Emma. Yes, I'm a very honest person, right? So am I. But that wasn't the question. The question is, do you think most people are honest? I truly understand being honest. So my question was not, are you honest? My question was, are most people honest? So again, you self-proclaimed honest people. Do you feel that you are surrounded by honest people? I am, but don't trust many. Right. So this is what I'm trying to say. So, honestly, this is where the difference in age group kicks in 40s and 50-year-olds, for the most part, civilized, good-hearted ones. Yeah, I mean, again, I guess when you're older, you lie more or you bend the truth. Gabrielle, I'm going to say it again. No. Yes, Mama, I held to the no. I am with you. And that it was my question, is that, I also think on the flip side of that, though, I don't think a lot of people, how do I word this? A lot of people don't like the truth. Okay? That is the truth. A lot of people do not like the truth, right? When somebody tells you like it is, 9 times out of 10, people will pull back from that. And they'll be like, they'll give you an attitude, they'll give you something, they don't want to hear it. Because my husband used to say to me all the time, Karen, you don't have to always say what you're thinking. And it's just, I'm so goddamn honest, I can't help it. And it's all over my face. I can't even lie. If I don't feel something, I can't even lie. I just can't do it. It's all over. I am just too honest. But I think that is what, you should be honest, but I think as you get older, you learn how to do it more graciously, would I say. You don't have to be so blunt, right? I mean, honest doesn't mean, like I said, real talk. That's real talk. Real talk does not mean I'm throwing anybody under a bus. It means that I'm honest and this is real talk. So, people mistaken that. You don't have to be a bitch. You don't have to be a nasty amarefa, to tell the truth. Somebody doesn't have to get it hard and bad. They can get it soft and good. You can still be honest and not be, abusive, being honest. So, let's see what I have. Younger generations, they always feel they got to fake something to make them look good. Well, I don't know that it's necessarily just younger generations. I think it's just younger people in general. It's not just this Me Too shit. It's just people in general. Like I said, when you're younger, you don't own it. You question yourself, so you're going to tell stories a little bit more. It's funny. Someone dear to me said to me the other day, I said, but I don't lie. Why would you even think that I was, up to no good or whatever? And they said, it's not that you lie. It's just that maybe I think you were just scared to say the truth. And, that resonated with me because I was like, not that I was scared to say the truth, but sometimes people don't make you comfortable enough to say the truth. So sometimes you just don't say anything at all, right? So now my question at that point, which I will get back to reading this, is not telling the whole truth as bad as lying? Because in all honesty, if you're leaving certain things out, then it's not really the whole truth, right? So that's another question, and I'm interested to see your feedback on it as I read through what you guys said here. Diane says, you can tell who is and who isn't honest. You know what, Diane? I wish that was true. But I really don't think that that is the case. I think that people that are dishonest are very good at it sometimes. So I don't think you can always tell the truth. You can have a gut feeling about something, but unfortunately, if you don't have that evidence in front of you, it's very difficult to recognize that they aren't being honest until you see something, and then obviously you realize it from that point forward. So I think that sometimes people that are dishonest are able to cover it up very well. There are people that are just bad at being dishonest, but the people that are really good at being dishonest, they're really good at covering it up, that you don't realize that they're being dishonest. Leslie, I'm the honest one, and some can't handle the truth. Right, Leslie, and I think that I just, I addressed that, right? That sometimes the truth is not, people don't want to hear. The truth shall set you free, but most people don't want to be free. Gabriella, yes, you know, it's so funny. I used to have an intro to the show, and that was one of the things I said, the truth shall set you free. And yeah, that's, again, wow, you should start writing for Hallmark, Gabriella. I really like it. Diane said, some in denial and get defensive. Oh, hello. Well, that's exactly what I was just saying before, is that of course people get defensive, and you know, they're trying to make themselves look good. Okay, where is Mel? I honestly don't care what people are, but the answer is no. Look, if you're a liar, who are you really lying to? 100% perpetrating the fraud. That's it. You are right. The first lie is to yourself, because you're trying to believe yourself, and so you know you can't believe a lie. So yep, I'm with you. But then again, it depends on what it boils down to, right? Okay, Rob, you agreed. Nancy, Evie, how are you? Leslie, second time it's brutally honest if beating around the bush don't work. Yeah, well, sometimes, you know what, Leslie? I kind of learned at this point that I don't even go there anymore. You know, if you gotta be like that and you gotta be brutally honest and somebody's just not receptive to it, screw it. Don't even bother. Don't waste your time. They don't want to hear it. Don't even say it. Just, you know, walk away. Good point. Never saw it that way. Good point. Well, thank you. That is my job here on Real Talk with Karen Stacy. I like to give a different point, because sometimes people don't ever get the point. So thanks for paying attention. Okay. I would never make it in sales marketing. I'd starve. Yeah, Diane, right? Well, you know what the trick is to that? I mean, I've done sales and I've done all that stuff. The trick to that is believing in what you're selling. So, you know, if you don't believe in what you're selling, then you would starve. But if you sold vitamins, and those vitamins helped you build up your immune system, and you were never sick again, you would never have a problem with, you know, using that, you know, so or selling it, because it represented. Nancy, the topic tonight is a little bit of everything. My guest was unable to come, so we have been talking about a myriad of things. Right now, we are talking about, are most people honest? And is it okay to not tell the whole truth? Okay, I hate to fabricate anything. I want to make sure it's legit coming from me. Sometimes I'd have to make sure if I have to mention anybody in a positive way. I still double check, because some don't like to be name dropped, even if you are praising them or saying something positive. Diane, I'm good at figuring people out. Good for you. I'll bring you along with me. Leslie, I'm good at observing patterns and listening more now than ever. Agreed. And that was kind of what I was saying earlier, is that, you know, people could say a lot of different things, but until you physically see someone in action, you really don't know until you know, which I say all the time, right? Ro, when you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said. You know what? That is one of the most true statements, and not because people that lie, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would never be able to remember. I can't remember what I said yesterday. I mean, what I did yesterday. I mean, that's why, thank God, you know what? That's why it's important to be a whole good person, because life comes around and it comes back around at you. So if you're a liar and if you make things up, eventually that circle will come around and it will come back at you. And then if you don't remember what you said, then what? But at least if everything you say is truthful, when somebody brings something up, you know, it'll click again and you'll remember that. So, you know, again, going back to what I was talking about earlier, that's reputation. If you have a reputation of being honest, then those words come back around and everybody knows that already. So it's your reputation speaks for itself. So I definitely agree. Emma, you can always use my name since I'm not your friend, but just remember I'm honest. Emma, we love honest. Thank you. Yeah, Diane, we live and learn. True, believe in what you're selling. I can relate to that big time. Karen needs to give me more sales insights and tips. Gabriella, and then you have the people that truly believe their own lies. Oh my God, hello. Yeah, that is, but you know what? And that's the scary part, is that people live there. And so you tell yourself something. See, it's like inner talking, right? If you tell yourself, you know, like mantras, right? You know, if you follow any, like I follow people like that, and it's a mantra. You know, if you say, today I'm gonna, you know, today's gonna be a great day. You know, I'm gonna meet the man of my dreams, or I'm going to nail this, you know, interview, or whatever the case may be, and you put that positivity and you put that mantra in your head, then those things are going to come to fruition. If you're living a lie and you are a liar, then you are living that lie, and you are that liar. So you begin to believe in the lies because you're telling yourself that all the time. So when you go to sleep at night and you have, like, you know, the angel and the devil on your shoulder, because let's face it, guys, at night when we close, when the lights are gone and it's quiet and it's just you and your thoughts, nothing can change that, because you're living in that, right? So that's the you know, the truth is there. But yes, you're right. People believe their own lies, and it's sad because I just recently heard, you know, I heard a story. I knew a certain story. Then I heard a different side to a story. And it's just very sad because, you know, both people telling the story believe their story. You know, so they always say there's, like, you know, their version, you know, your version, and then there's the truth, right? So everybody has their own interpretation. But, you know, if you're lying, then there is no way to interpret a lie. It's just a lie, and that's it. So, as I say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right, let's see. Pathetic liars. True. Nancy, I'm in sales. I'm extremely honest. My reputation means more to me than the money. Absolutely, and that's exactly what I was just saying, right? Is that, you know, I mean, and yes, you're also, you know, a very religious woman as well. So, you know, to me, I this is what I was talking about in the show earlier. That's how I began the show, is how important is your reputation to you. So, you know, you just tied into the whole show without even watching it. So maybe when you have a moment, if you can get to the beginning of this and watch it again, you know, you would probably enjoy what we were talking about. Yes, Anne-Marie, we hate liars. Yeah, real talk doesn't like liars. Not at all. Reputation is key. Yeah, reputation is key, because it's just like me. You guys know, like, if I say to you, you know, oh, you know, I use this cream and I can't believe it. Like, you know, all of, like, my skin is this. You're going to go, oh shit, Karen uses that and she said it was good. And you know her, she would never say that something was good if it wasn't. So that's your reputation. So at that point, whether you're in sales or you're just, you like something, so therefore you represent it, it's still honest and it's organic. You don't try to, if somebody's selling you life insurance, they're selling you life insurance because they want to make sure that, you provide for your loved ones in the time of need. They're not, they could be deceitful and they could be selling you, insurance that's too high, that doesn't work or whatever. But I'm just saying, you have to believe in what you're selling, because if you believe in what you're selling, then you're not really selling it. You're just representing it, and there's a difference. It's like I say, when I host my events and stuff, I'm not a promoter. I'm a personality. And because I'm a personality, I therefore promote wherever I am. So I'm not a promoter. I'm not a Tia Maria. That's not who I am. Tia is a promoter. She does these amazing events. She puts these things together. She organizes it. She has detail upon detail upon detail. That's what she brings people together. She organizes it. She does all these things. She promotes it, puts it out there in the world. She does her thing. She hustles and gets people, to come, because that's what she does. That's not what I do. I promote by default because I am Karen Stacy. No, because I have a talk show on their radio. No, because that's who I am, and when I go, that's what people come to see, the personality. It's not because I'm not a promoter. So it's all relative. I'm with Miami Mike Radio, so that's what I represent. So when I'm out and about, I am Karen Stacy, One Real Talk from Miami Mike Radio. So, there's nothing to sell. That's it. That's the package. So that's my point, is that, whatever you do, if you're in sales, if you're selling a car, hopefully you drive that car maybe, or you feel that is a safe car, that you feel comfortable putting somebody into, and that they're not gonna, crash and die, God forbid. So, that's what that means, I would say. It's called practice what you preach. Yeah, hello. How many people do that, Mel? You have to believe in yourself as well when it comes to sales. Well, you have to believe in yourself with everything, right? Because nobody is ever going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are those people that will believe in you no matter what. But if you believe in yourself, you will get other people to believe in you by default, because what other choice would they have? Why would they think any differently? Well, like, shit, she believes, look at her. She knows what the hell she's doing. Of course I'm going to follow her. Of course I'm going to take her lead. So, obviously those things come into play as well. Whoops, I'm hitting my microphone. I apologize. So, you are a part of my Real Talk interactive show this evening. And as I said earlier, my guest was unable to come. I have definitely had a lot of positive feedback from people stating that they enjoyed my one-on-one, my interactive show. So I try to change it up. I try to have great guests, and then I try to give you all of me, where we can shoot the shit and talk about all these real talk topics. I am always open to topics and suggestions. My email with Miami Mike Radio is Karen Stacy, Stacy, at MiamiMikeRadio.com. My website is KarenStacy.com. You can contact me there. You can obviously send me messages on Facebook if you like. You can always get in touch with me. I'm always open to suggestions. Of course, you can, chime in on a feed. But if you feel that, you'd rather it be personal, I've had some people reach out to me personally so that, it wasn't a public post. I'm happy to entertain anybody's questions. So you are listening to Real Talk with Karen Stacy, and we are live in the frozen tundra. Live in the frozen tundra. You know what? I actually had a question that was given to me a while back, and I didn't get a chance to address it. I have, thank you, Joe. I have people on this feed right now that have teenage children, to my understanding. And I was asked a question, and I don't know how to help. So maybe you guys can chime in. The question that was asked was, what do you do if you have teenage children that you think might be dabbling in, drugs, or in, or drinking, or maybe even sex? How do you approach that? Because I think as a parent, obviously you have to know your child, right? Because usually you know what the best way is to get through to them. But it's a very hard dynamic when you're dealing with a young person that's in a formidable years and everything else, and you don't know what the relationship is like. So how do you parents out there that have teenagers or, children of those ages, what do you do if you suspect that your teenager is drinking, drugging, or banging or sexing it up? What do you do? Gee, Dory, thanks for joining us. Let's see. It's called I Spy Until You Find Out the Truth. Okay, so Gabriella, I understood. So now you I spy and you find out the truth, and then how do you deal with it? So let's say you find out, yeah, they're doing A, B, or C. How do you handle that? What do you do? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna read, because this is not something that I know. So I'm asking for a friend now. I know for myself that I established a certain relationship with my son. And again, he's only 9. He's going to be 10 next week, my baby. But, I always just try to leave the lines of communication open. I feel like my husband would have been much better at that, because my husband was the king of freaking sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So I was really hoping he was going to deal with that. Because I'm bad with stuff like that, because I'll just I'll bash you over the head with a freaking bottle and tell you, if you ever do it again, I'll kill you, so that's not really the right thing to say, so I don't want to go that route. All right, where am I here? Blah, 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 let's see. Yes, the I Spy. Oh, Shari, you just got back in from Vegas. Hi, Mama. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Mel said, sit your kid down and talk to them like a friend and discuss whatever the matter is. Okay. Okay. Okay, so if it's a boy, let them enjoy. You know what, Mel? I get that, and I'm sure you were half joking around. But I was talking to someone not that long ago, and they have a young son. And, you can't, because guess what? If you don't teach your son the right thing, they can get into just as much trouble, because, if they get somebody pregnant, that's just as bad. And if they're getting drunk, or they're drugging it up, and they're driving or whatever, that's still just as scary, I would think. Okay, if it's a boy. Okay, wait, where am I? Sorry, what part? Okay, Gabriella, you sit them down with the evidence, so they can't sit there and say, no, I don't, and it's my friend, and you just talk to him to get through to them. If not, there's programs out there to help. Okay, Shari, you're still there. Okay, thank you for tuning in from Vegas. Hi, Vegas. Yes, I said sex, drugs, and rock and roll, Rich. Okay, Mel. Not not true. My son is 18 and he'd rather talk to me than his father, whether it's sex problems or whatever. You know what? I'm not saying that I get that, but I'm just saying I personally felt like Joey would have been better at it than me. I don't mean, I mean, that's true. And I do keep those lines of communication open like that. And I think that, that boy, mothers and sons have that relationship, right? So it is definitely a little different. But I'm just saying, it's a scary. All right, hold on. I'm sorry. That's why it's up to the parents to be open with their kids sometimes, and you have to pop open a condom and explain everything. All right, are you guys ready for this story? Because now I have to say it, because you're gonna I can't. All right, because I'm me. I can't help it. So, God knows. I think my son was 4, 5. I don't even remember. I don't remember how old he is. Maybe he was 5. And he started, asking about kids and stuff like that. And I had the conversation with the sperm has to, the fertilize the egg, and I did all that, right? So somebody said to me, Karen, you really went there? And I'm like, yeah, because you know what? If he's asking, there's a reason why he's asking, and I'd rather him get the information correct and get it from me than get it from somebody else. So a couple of years ago, we're driving in the car. It always happens in the car, too, when you're driving and you're really not paying attention and thinking that you gotta have this conversation, and then it comes, right? So I'm so he says to me, Mom, there was a bulletin that said, about adoption, right? So my son says, why would anyone give up a child? And I said, well, honey, sometimes, accidents happen, and sometimes, they may be young or the situation, and they cannot provide for that child. So they put the child up for adoption because there are a lot of really amazing people that, that want children and they can't have them. So he says, well, how do you have an accident? So now I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. So I'm like, well, remember when Mommy told you that, when two people love each other, that they are, have sex, and that, the sperm fertilizes the egg. And I said, when, you're doing your thing with your pisha deal and everything, I said, eventually something's going to come out of that. And he's like, really? And I'm like, I can't believe I'm having this guy. So I'm like, yes, eventually something's going to come out of that, and that's called sperm. And that's how the sperm, and the egg. So I said, so in order for that not to happen, you have to wear a condom. So he's like, what's a condom? So I'm like, well, it's it's like a rubber thing that goes over your peach. And then you don't have, and then you can't have a baby, So I go through this whole thing with him. And, a lot of people said to me, I can't believe you went there with him. And somebody just posted a comment that said, that's a lot of detail for a young child. I didn't say it to him. I said it I made it right to his age group, I think, age level, with, I made it, PG, I guess, but I don't know that it's a lot of information, because my feeling is that if a child asks you these questions, there's a reason why they're asking you the question. And if they're asking the question and they don't get the right answer, and you did them like it's the birds and the bees, or, you brush it off, I certainly feel that you're not giving them the right information. And that's me, personally. I also have the type of child that I can have that conversation with. There are a lot of children that are very young, and they don't get that. And I would never have that conversation with them. But if my son is asking me that question, I'm going to answer the question. Because guess what? He's going to be 10 years old right now. And you know what? It's on the internet. It's on the TV. It's everywhere. Sex is everywhere. He isn't interested in girls. He don't know, care, nothing. But he knows what a condom is. He knows what these things are. You may not agree with me, and I'm okay with that. And I'm not saying that I'm right. All I'm saying is this is what I did, because if my child is asking me this question, I need to answer the question. So the going back to the original conversation was, it depends on your child, A, and you have to have those lines of communication open. So maybe people don't agree with me, and maybe they don't think I should have had that conversation with him at whatever age it was. But you know what? He now knows that he can talk to me about anything, and that's what needs to happen. So just like you guys are all saying, if you have a teenager or you have somebody, your kid, and they want to come to you, they need to be able to come to you. So, it's definitely, there's a lot to be said with all of that, and they should be able to come to you, because, you know what, I hope that he says to me, Mom, I was at a party, and, these guys were drinking, and like, I didn't really know what to do. And I want him to be able to tell me that, and I'm going to have to tape my mouth shut and be like, you better not have been drinking, I'll kill you. I'm going to have to shut myself up and, and let him talk. And hopefully he's going to be open and honest with me, and tell me if he did drink or he didn't drink. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have that type of communication with your kid, they're gonna do it behind your back, and then they're gonna fuck it up. I mean, let's keep it real. If you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna screw it up. So that makes me nervous. So let me go into the comments here, because I just went off on a tangent. I gave you Karen Stacy's sex talk 101. Let's see, where am I? Let me just make sure that we're still here. Okay, where am I? Okay, wow, I got a lot of comments. Holy crap. All right, I hope you guys aren't yelling at me. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have told everybody my thing here, but I'm honest. Where am I? I do talk to my daughter. Sex is going on at age of 13, and she does tell me which girls are having sex. Yeah, see? 13, hello. I told my daughter, in God's plants, a seed through the belly button. That's great. Yeah, well, that would be, then stay away from my belly button, right? Okay, that's not it. I tell my daughter, I'll break your legs. Yeah, you see what I'm saying, Mel? Like, that's what I mean. Yes, okay, let's see. Sex education on MMR, right? Yeah, you got the right person giving it, right? Okay, and you also have to wear a condom so your penis doesn't fall off with all the diseases out there. Yeah, I mean, I think I might have touched on that a little bit too, safe sex, but that it was a lot. So I don't want to scare him like that. Like, then they think it's, like I said, don't ever put your mouth on anything dirty. I think that's the synonymous, and it's great advice. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. Without a doubt, I think all of them should know between the ages of 7 and 8. Yeah, well, the condom thing, I think, happened around that point. But, since I already planted the egg and the sperm thing, it just made it easy for me to pick up after it. And the funniest thing was that when I was having that conversation with him, which I knew was right over his head, he was listening and partaking, and then all of a sudden he's like, wow, Mom, a squirrel just ran by. And I'm like, yep, there you go. That's sex talk with the freaking, kid. Okay, last night Anthony Mangini class was about orgasm, and tonight Karen Stacy, where babies come from, sex education. Well, thank God my son wasn't listening to the show last night, right? Okay, Marie, parenting is everything. Keep your kids close. Be honest, be there. Don't make your kids grow up on the streets. Being a parent is the most important job you will ever do. They need guidance. Agreed. And I guess that was what I was saying. And you know what? Everybody's, as a parent, everybody's comfortability on that is different. Me personally, I share certain things with my son because as I've said before, when you have to tell your child that his father is never coming home again, there's really nothing more you can't say to him. So I have a different relationship with my son, and my son is an old soul at this point. So he's also my kid. And I need to know things. I need to know what I'm dealing with. I don't care how bad it is. Talk to me about it. I need to know what's going on. I need to know. So my son is like that, and I try to shield him from things, and because he's a kid and he shouldn't have to deal with the weight of the world. He doesn't need to know that you don't know where your mortgage payment's coming from, or he doesn't need to know that somebody just, did something terrible to you. He doesn't need to know any of those things. He just needs to be. And so I don't want to tell him these things, but you know what? He knows. And guess what? He'll say to me, Mom, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine, Noah. He's like, Mom, tell me what's on your mind. I know something's on your mind. Something's wrong. He can read me. He knows something's wrong. And I still don't freaking tell him. But I will tell him certain things. So if he asks me those questions, I'm going to tell him those questions. Or answers, rather. So it is what it is. And that's just me personally. My child needs to know. And I will tell him what he needs to know. And whether people agree with me or disagree with me, I always listen to other people's opinions. But at the end of the day, as a parent, we know our children. And that was my point, was that, if our child is doing, again, we went off topic a little bit. But, the moral of the story from the input that I'm getting from people is, to talk to your children and to address it and not to leave it alone. And I think that's the issue, is that the longer it goes unaddressed, the harder it is to get them back, because you all know sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Once you dive in there, it's very difficult. You start to drown, some of us, so you gotta watch. You may think these kids are young, but they know more than you think. Once you get the kids to feel comfortable to open up with you, you'll be surprised to know what's going on in the school. Agreed. I'd rather tell them instead of another way. That's exactly my point. Giuseppe, Trojan man. Let's see. Where are we here? I work in schools with the youngest one, so I do see what's going on. Sex Talk 101, making up for what would have been with me. No, you need to scare the bejesus out of them. You know what, Gabriella, I agree with that. Right now, I don't have to scare the bejesus out of him because he doesn't get that yet. So I will. I scare him in other ways. So I'm not going to tell him his penis is going to fall off yet. I'll tell him that once I think he's actually interested. But he's not interested right now. So I just gave him the birds and the bees. Well, I gave him Karen Stacy's version of the birds and the bees. What time is it? Oh my God, it's 9:56. How the hell did we talk this long? It's almost 2 freaking hours. Okay, you're a great mom, and I can see his love for you in your adorable videos. Thank you, Shari. I appreciate that. Richie agreed. Communication is key. Communication is key with everything and everyone. So I'm a high communicator. So guess what? I'm going to communicate with my child, and my child communicates with me. People that know me and know my kid say to me, I cannot believe that, your son expressed himself like that. I can't believe he even knew that. I can't believe he said that. That's just, and sometimes I feel bad because I think I gave too much. That's too much sometimes, So, it's anyway, all right. Don't kid yourself. A lot of kids are having sex over computers. They are sending naked pictures of themselves, things my kids tell me and showed me. I was disgusted. All I can tell my kids is think of your own reputation. You know what, Mel? You just hit that freaking hard. That is huge, and I wasn't even going there, but now you are 100% right, and that is definitely something to address for parents. You need to look at those phones, like computers in their bedrooms without monitoring. Those are hairy. My computer, and I've spoken to a lot of parents, the computer is in the living room. Now, don't get me wrong, he has his iPad and he'll go up to his room, but I always look at what's going on. And again, my kid is only 9, 10 years old, but I still pay attention to certain things, and he knows if he watches YouTube videos, if they curse, if they do it, he knows what's appropriate, he knows what's inappropriate, and he knows if I hear that or see that, I'll break the freaking iPad. But yes, and that goes for adults too, Mel. You know, I had a girlfriend of mine that was taking pictures and texting, you know, sexting, whatever. I mean, you want to talk dirty to somebody and you want to sext back and forth with words, that's one thing. But if you're sending pictures of yourself, those are out there. And the scary thing is that technology hasn't caught up to the laws. The laws haven't caught up. So, you know, you have... Years ago, we had Polaroid pictures, right? So you would take a Polaroid of a nasty picture, a Polaroid or whatever. That would be the only thing. And if if somebody got a hold of it, they showed it to everybody. Now it's on your phone, right? So now, you know, some girl sends a picture of themselves, and now the guy breaks up with her, and he shows the entire high school the picture of this girl's homosexual. So you have to raise your children to know you don't do that. And adults are doing it. But that's our own, you know, we decide to, we don't decide to. For me, that's a hard thing. I'm a mom. So I could be hot and heavy into you unless you are my man and I know that you would never show that to nobody else because of the fact that you respect me. You will never see a picture of me like that because it's too easy to get caught up and it's too easy for something to happen, and that's your reputation. And my girlfriend, somebody that I knew, somebody got a hold of the guy she was messaging with, had a girlfriend, she got a hold of the phone, a hold of the pictures, and she posted that shit on Facebook. And that it was all out there. So, you know, you can't do that. And I mean, you know, especially if you have kids that are on or whatever, you just cannot do that. So that was a very good to bring to our attention, Mel. You have to educate your children. Once you put something out there, you can't bring it back. That's words, it's pictures, it's everything. Everything. And unfortunately, now children, that's what I was trying to say, what the laws didn't catch up. That's considered like a form, I think it's like not rape, but there's a form of sexual, it makes you like a sexual predator. You go on like that list because it's considered, like sex with a minor or something like that. But it's actually against the law if you do that. So if you have your son and he has a picture of this girl's homosexual and he's showing it around, he can get arrested for that. So, you know, and that's innocent, stupid shit. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not saying that they should do that. But, you know, it's innocent, stupid shit. You know, it's just like when we used to write love letters to each other and they who would show who. You know, it's just kids being kids. But you really got to be careful and you got to teach your kids. All right. Thank you, Dory. Hey, Camille, how are you? Karen, you did all the talking. Well, who else is going to do the talking? There ain't nobody else here. You guys are talking to me over here, and I'm just reiterating and reading it. But I'm having fun. You guys are freaking awesome. That's blackmail. You got to be dumb. Yep, pedophiles. Yep. Oh, that's it. It's a pedophile. Is that what that is? If Gabrielle, is that what you're saying, Gabriella? Is that... that's the crime. I don't know, but I do know that is a crime. No, Karen. Let me just say, a 13-year-old girl posted a picture of her private part in a group. Nice. Her mother should be very proud. And that's probably like, and her father's probably like a high-profile like lawyer or something. Blame. Okay, so that's probably, that's the funny part about it, right? Yes. Oh, that's it, Gabriella. Okay. Yeah, I know it was something, and I remember reading up on it, and I just thought that was so alarming, that was happening, that these kids were just really being kids, and they were, being penalized for it, legally. I mean, I think they should be penalized, but I don't think that they should have a sex offender legal issue over it. I think that, the parents should discipline them, but, that's just my opinion. But holy crap, we have gone 2 hours. Could you imagine? Holy crap, I can't believe it. Wow, you guys are awesome. I am so appreciative of all of the participation in today's show. And I really had so much fun today. I was actually having a little bit of a crappy day today. Something pissed me off earlier. And I had a little bit of a crappy day, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to be today, because I was just like, I don't know. I don't feel like talking. Like, I was just in a mood. And you guys got me out of that mood, and here I am talking for 2 freaking hours. And still going. I'm like, holy shit, what else are we going to talk about? What was I? Okay, so no, now I have, I'm sorry, the phone's going off, everything's going on here. Let me get back. I see people are talking, so let me see what you guys are writing. Where am I? Give me a second. I'm sorry. I see you right. Okay. Okay. Oh, Gabriella, thank you so much. Social media gone wild. Marie, my boys are older now, but if Facebook was around back then, trust me, I'd done a Kojak on them. Hello. I caught the end about sales, what I was in sales. The big thing is having knowledge is power and being confident in what you sell. 100%, my love, definitely. We talked about that, confidence and everything. If anybody missed any part of the show, I will obviously share it. And I appreciate it if you share it. I love to get feedback and hear other people's thoughts. I mean, like I said, 2 weeks ago, my show got so much feedback, but it wasn't about my show, actually. It was just people going off, somebody going off on a tangent a little bit. But I appreciate it. I like to hear it. I like to get people talking, and good, bad, or indifferent. It's all good. Talk is talk, and as long as it's real, let's keep it real. I'm all over it. And so go back and watch whatever you missed. I thank you guys for tuning in, and I always got stuff to talk about. So, like I said, you can always email me if you want to privately, say a topic. I'm happy to address it. I didn't get to talk about a lot of the things that I wanted to, but that's okay, because I'll save them. And Plan B seems to be in my future a lot, or in my life a lot. So we'll talk about it again. But I think that keeping you guys on here for 2 hours is probably long enough. So I'm going to let you all go. And again, I just want to say, that my thoughts and prayers go out to Bobby. May you rest in peace. We dedicated the show tonight to Bobby. Unfortunately, he lost his battle with cancer, and I send love to his loving wife and to his family and his friends. Unfortunately, I know how horrible that is, and I dedicate the show to him, and let everybody know that he is in our hearts, and hopefully he's not suffering right now, and I hope he's at peace. I hope maybe him and my husband are watching the show right now, and they're loving it. So that's all we can hope for, right? To recap, let's just say that, I think that honesty is the best policy. I think that your reputation is everything. I think that we should be open and honest with our children, and with everybody don't perpetrate the fraud. Just freaking be who you are and own it. And that was what we were talking about earlier, was about being single, in our age bracket and everything else. Just own it. It is what it is. And yeah, we, just keep it real. That's what it's all about, keeping it real. And if you can't keep it real, keep it moving. So, that's my feeling is, just keep it moving. I'm good with that. What else? What else do I got to say? I think that was about it. I mean, that was pretty much a quick recap, right? Oh, and happy Halloween. I mean, Valentine's Day, everybody. Yes, thank you, Shari. I personally did not know Bobby, but I knew him through friends, and I knew he was battling. He was actually a fan of the show, him and his wife, and I am, anytime these two loved each other, and he really fought a good fight from what I could see. I didn't know him personally, but I knew a lot of people that knew him, and I could just see that he was a beautiful soul. And I guess they really, only the good die young. So, we never know why these beautiful people are taken from us. But, yeah, cancer sucks. And I am sorry for the loss, and I'm sorry for the suffering and the pain. And hopefully, I do know that they are definitely in a better place. And when his wife is ready, he will let her know that as well. But that's a whole other thing. So anyway, like I said, happy snow day to all of us New Yorkers, and happy Valentine's Day, or in my world, happy Halloween. So, kiss somebody, kiss a frog, maybe you'll get a prince. I don't know, kiss a pig, maybe she'll turn into a princess. I can't say for sure. Thank you. Yes, I keep it real. There is no faking going on in my world. This is Real Talk with Karen Stacy, and this is a live talk show. There is no script. There is no anything. There's just words on a piece of paper so that I don't lose track, even though I start talking and then I freaking forget what the hell I got to get back on track again. So my apologies when I go off on my little tangents, but it is what it is. So, happy Tuesday. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Real Talk with Karen Stacy, live on MiamiMikeRadio.com, and stay tuned. I love you guys. All right, let's see. Where am I?